A very good morning to all of our listeners. Welcome to the Outfield show stream where all the cricket is condensed in a podcast and brought straight to you. On Friday Fact Check today, we'll continue from where we left off in the last week's episode of Friday Fact Check and we'll discuss some amazing cricketing facts from the month of May. If you enjoy listening to our show, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Outfield Show Stream and on YouTube at the Outfield Show. Do subscribe to our channels on Spotify and Apple Podcasts where we upload our daily episodes. It'll be easier for you if you turn on the notifications to keep a tab of our upcoming episodes. Enjoy today's episode of Friday Fact Check. Today on May 21, but in 2017, a last ball finish in Hyderabad gave Mumbai Indians their third IPL title, and this one coming against the rising Pune Super Giants, who were playing the final game of their 2-year stint in the IPL. It looked like Pune would have a fairy tale finish when they restricted Mumbai to just 129. This was the lowest first innings total in an IPL final. They started cautiously, and at the end of 16 overs, they needed 33 with Steve Smith and MS Dhoni at the crease. However, the 17th over bowled by Jasprit Bumrah proved to be the turning point. Pune lost Dhoni and managed only 3 runs in that over. Smith was still around when Pune faced the final over, needing 13 to win. Mitchell Johnson conceded a 4 off the first ball, but then got rid of Manoj Tiwari and Steve Smith with the next 2. A dropped catch of the 5th ball meant Pune needed 4 runs of the last ball, but they could only manage 2, giving Mumbai Indians an IPL title. On the same day, in 1997, flamboyant Pakistani opening batsman Saeed Anwar battered India in an Independence Cup game which was played in Chennai, scoring 194 of only 146 balls, which was then the highest individual score in ODIs in Pakistan's victory by 35 runs over India in that game. None of his teammates got more than 39 runs, and it was a one-man show by Saeed Anwar. It might have helped that he had Shahid Afridi as his runner from the 19th over onwards, as Anwar was free to concentrate on hitting those boundaries, exactly what he did. There were 22 fours and 5-6 hit by Anwar, and 3 of them were of consecutive deliveries from Anil Kumble. Ironically, Sachin Tendulkar broke that record against South Africa in 2010, where he bettered Saeed Anwar's 194 by scoring the first ever double hundred in ODI. The 20th of May, but in 1977, was also a special day for Indian women's cricket as it saw the birth of Anjum Chopra, who was a left-handed opening batsman for India, and she was also compared to David Gower. Chopra was India's premier batsman and she played in 4 World Cups. She was also rewarded for her consistent performances over the years when she won the Arjuna Award, one of India's highest sporting honours in 2007. She played her final game for India in 2012 and then she got into television commentary and she's brilliant at that too. Truly a legend. On the 19th of May, but in 1874, the original entertainer of cricket was born. His name was Gilbert Jupiter, and he was arguably a fierce hitter, some say even fierce than the great Viv Richards, Anne Botham, Adam Gilchrist, or anyone else who's belted the leather ball for a living. His feats with the bat are legendary. He was also known as the Croucher for his unusually bent stance, but he hit the first ball for Gloucestershire for 4, having come on a hat-trick ball, and his 53 first-class centuries came at an unbelievable average rate of 82.7 runs scored per hour. in 1903. He smashed 286 against Sussex in under 3 hours. He also creamed 157 in 1 hour against West Indies in 1900. In the 18 tests he played, he scored only 100, but what an innings it was. Against Australia, on a poor oval wicket in 1902, England was struggling at 48 for 5 when Jessop entered the crease. He scored 104 runs in only 77 minutes, and out of the 139 runs scored in that partnership, Jessop scored the major chunk of those runs, while the other batsmen could score only 35. England eventually crept home by 1 wicket. He loved hitting the ball through the covers. He died in Dorset in 1955. On the 18th of May in 1905, the man of 10 fours, the great Headley Verity, was born. He played for Yorkshire, and his 10 for 10 against Nottinghamshire at Headingley in 1931 was a common practice for him. This 10 for was surprisingly the only 10 for to include a hat trick in it. But for Verity, it was his second 10 for of the summer. Warwickshire also faced Verity's wrath when he took 10 for 36 against them. Verity's 40 test career included some startling performances, most notably his 15 for 104 at Lord's in England's only Ashes victory in the 20th century in 1934. And nobody troubled Don Bradman more than Verity in tests. He did it 8 times. He was just 38 when he died in a prisoner of war camp in Italy. He ended with 1,956 first-class wickets at a startling average of 14.90 and a strike rate of a wicket every 42 balls. He was Don Bradman's nemesis for sure. Since we are speaking of spinners, how can we leave out the great B. Chandrasekhar, who was born on the 17th of May in 1945? He gave India reasons to celebrate as he averaged 19 with the ball when India won and 37 when India didn't. At this time, when leg spin was virtually a dead art, an attack of a polio as a child left his right arm weak, but there was nothing wrong with his wrists. He fished the ball both ways, something close to a medium pace speed. Chandrasekhar delivered overseas as well. He bowled India to victory most famously at the Oval in 1971 and in Melbourne in 1977-78. Chandrasekhar was also a gloriously incapable batsman. He failed to score in 38 of his 80 test innings he batted in. He ended up with 242 test wickets and only 167 runs. The 16th of May 2013 was indeed a dark day for Indian cricket. The IPL had been hit by controversy before, but just as the 6th season came to a close, it got its biggest jolt when 3 Rajasthan Royal bowlers, Shrikant, Aniket Chavan and Ajit Chandila, were arrested by the Delhi police for allegedly fulfilling promises made by bookkeepers. A week later, Gurunath Mayappan, Chennai Super Kings team principal and son-in-law of BCCI President N. Srinivasan, was arrested on charges of cheating, forgery and fraud. Pressure mounted on Srinivasan to hand his resignation from the post of president, but he refused. Even as the board secretary, treasurer and the IPL chairman handed their resignations, as a compromise, Srinivasan agreed to step aside temporarily. The board set up an inquiry committee to look into the mess, but even before their investigations began, the Delhi police announced that owner of Rajasthan Royals franchise, Raj Kundra, had confessed on betting on IPL matches. Well, if the inquiry had carried on, a lot of more details would have been revealed. But Raj Kundra accepted his fault and the players continued their punishment. Shrikant did make a comeback, but he wasn't picked in the 2021 edition of the IPL in the auction. 15th May 2017 was a proud day for Indian cricket. The highest partnership in women's ODI history was made on this day by Deepti Sharma and Poonam Raut of India away from home against Ireland. Their 320 was the first triple century stand in the format and 211 more than the second string Ireland team could manage altogether. The 19-year-old Sharma made her maiden international 100 and a big one, hitting a world record of 27 fours in her 188 runs and the second highest individual score after Belinda Clark's 229 not out in the 1997 World Cup. It was 1999, and do you know that the 1999 World Cup was when the world of cricket saw a lot of change? It was blooming with newer concepts and a lot of innovations, and teams were coming up with newer tricks up their sleeves. It was a time when the word pinch hitters was introduced to the world of cricket. Spinners were opening the bowling. But on this day, that is the 15th of May in 1999, South Africa took innovation a little too far for ICC's liking. The captain, Ansi Cronje, came onto the field with a earpiece that was wired up to his coach Bob Woolmer in the dressing room. But it couldn't go far, as in the first drinks break, the match referee Talat Ali ordered Cronje to remove the offending earpiece. South Africa won that game though, with Jack Callis scoring 96 in an efficient chase of 254 against India. Well, sounds like an interesting concept of having a earpiece and getting connected to the dressing room. Do you think that wearing earpieces should be allowed on the field, at least for the captain? Let us know on a direct message on Instagram at the Outfield Show Stream. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Friday Fact Check. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, but we are going to be coming with more tomorrow on Saturday News. But until then, please follow the links in the description below and support us on Instagram and YouTube. Until then, stay safe, take care, and see you all.